I wanted to record this video a while ago, but something keeps coming up and getting in my way. But I think right now is the time. So several people in the last few days have called me and said, I'm thinking about investing into a rental. And they say, let's just say I live in Frisco, I live in Wiley, or I live in where I live in. And they said, I want to invest not too far from my home, but within an hour drive. What would you recommend? What area would you recommend? And this question is very complicated question because recommend based on what factor, right? I recommend based on what factor. So I add them typically. I say, okay, for me to recommend your location, first I need to know what's important to you. So what is the most important thing for you when you're selecting a property to potentially acquire for a rent? In most cases, they say, well, I want the property with high cash flow. My next question is, right now, almost no properties that you can acquire in Texas have high cash flow. But let's just say, just for the sake of the argument, that we found 4 properties that both have at least some cash flow. How would you choose between them? And he said, I'll probably go with the property with the highest cash flow. And to me, this simplistic approach to investing highlights the lack of education that people have about investing because they're taking a very long time period decision. Let's just say they plan, and I don't know, how long they plan to own the property? I said, well, maybe 10, 15 years. I don't know, haven't decided yet. I said, so you're taking a 15-year long decision that you're going to base based on a 1 month slice of a data point. How much is currently cash flowing if you were to purchase it in July 2024? A very long-term decision based on 1 point in time. And I said, what happens if the rent prices drop tomorrow? Just imagine for a second that the rent prices drop tomorrow. And now you're actually not cash flowing. You might be just breaking even or maybe even slightly down. See, to me, you cannot control some things. So in my opinion, buying a property based on factors that you cannot control is very important. If the prices go down tomorrow, what are you going to do? But that's a secondary consideration. Most importantly, I said, what about purchase costs? In some areas, it costs more to actually purchase the property than in others. It's a part of your cash flow, but nevertheless, are you considering that factor? What about taxes and insurance? Some cities or counties, but mostly cities, have notoriously higher taxes and insurance. It's part of your cash flow now, but what if taxes and insurance go up for that specific city or that specific zip code or that specific county next month? Because some counties just get hit with hail more often than others. And in some counties, taxes are more likely to go up than others because of many reasons. Maybe they're building additional schools, maybe they're building additional, roads or subdivision, they're expanding the city. Taxes and insurance, if they go up, how will that affect your cash flow? Also, are you thinking about depreciation? What if you find a property that cash flows $50 per month higher? Let's just say property A cash flows $50 higher than property B. But in property A, the appreciation has been stagnant for the last 3 years, and in property B, the appreciation has been increasing for the last 5 years or 3 years. But property B is actually cash flowing less than property A. How are you going to balance your decision in that case? Now, those are the obvious things. So very often when people call me and talk to me about their plans to purchase a property, our conversation centers on appreciation, rent prices, whether or not we can find a property of that price that would cash flow in that area, and then the taxes, whether they're higher in this area than in other areas. Okay, so those are the obvious kind of shiny objects that a lot of people focus on. But I would like to introduce a couple of additional topics of a conversation into a calculation of where to buy the property or which property to buy. So number one, market saturation. Very few people ask me about market saturation. I have to bring up that topic. So what is market saturation? Let's just say that we have a location A. In location A, there are a total of currently 5 homes that are 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage for rent. Okay, that's market A. And in market B, there are 25 houses currently for rent, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage. And let's just say that both in market A and in market B, the prices for rent are exactly the same. Which market is better? The market A, of course, simply because if you're only 1 out of 5 available homes for purchase, chances of you securing a rental and not having a 3-month vacancy is much better, because vacancy costs you money. Sometimes I feel almost like it's the dog that does not bark. There was a story about Sherlock Holmes, how he solved one of the crimes in one of his stories, and he focused on things that did not happen, things that were absent from the picture, like the dog, why the dog didn't bark. In this particular case, people focus on what they see, like they can see rent prices, they can see taxes and insurance, and they can see the purchase costs. But the silent aspects, the dogs that did not bark, are appreciation and time in the market, vacancy. Believe me, a 1-week vacancy versus a 3 months vacancy makes a huge impact on your overall profit from the year. So your cash flow, let's just even say that they're not even equal. Let's just say that property A with 5 houses only that are available for rent in that area is cash flowing $100 less than property B, where there's 25 houses for rent in the area that are similar to yours in year build and in location and in amenities. I would say with property A, if they have a faster turnover, if the properties are on the market for a smaller number of days, you're going to, even though you're making $100 less per month, you're going to overall have a higher overall profit per year because you're going to have a shorter vacancy between renters. In the property B, your cash flow is $100 higher, but if you have 2.5 to 3 months vacancy, guess what? Your profit just got wiped out, assuming that you have a mortgage. So market saturation is, nobody is asking me about market saturation, and I want that to become a topic of consideration for people who are looking into setting up rentals. Another thing that nobody asks me about, what do you know about commercial development? So for example, let me give you an example. If I told you that property A is barely breaking even and property B is cash flowing $300 per month, and that's all the information that you have, which property would you acquire? Property A with 0% cash flow currently, with $0 cash flow currently, or property B? You would say property B, of course, I want the cash flow. But the piece of information that you might be missing is that the area next to property B is being developed, and right now, Texas Instruments is building a huge chip manufacturing plant. I'll just say not Texas Instruments, some other company is building a huge chip manufacturing plant that will require almost 5,000 people to run the plant. And they're aggressively hiring engineers from other areas of Texas. Now, even though the property is barely making any money, maybe even breaking even now, what do you think are the propositions for the rent potential for that property are once the plan is completed and the hiring starts to pick up? The rents are obviously going to go up. By how much? We don't know yet, but chances are more than $200 per month. So again, rather than making a decision purely on a single slice in time, what is happening here and now, take a deeper look. What areas are building, commercial, manufacturing, and other interesting developments that are likely to attract high-paying workforce. Okay, that's commercial developments. Last but not least, acquisition method. Let's just say, for example, that you have a property A in with a higher purchase cost. Let's just say the property A is $450. The house is $450. And property B is a lower cost. And let's just say that the lower cost is $350. Now, if you take them both side by side and you look at them from a position of purchasing them both with some kind of a loan. Let's just say I'm going to go out and I'm going to get a DSCR loan or a conventional loan, and my interest rate is 7%. Yes, then in that case, property A, 450, is not as profitable as property B, 350, right? But what if property A, the one that's 450, can be bought with owner financing? Or what if you can take over the property A's current loan? Imagine the scenario that property A purchased their home 2.5 years ago, or 3 years ago, right now it's 2024. And at that time, their interest rate was 3.1. And they purchased that home at 3.1% interest rate, and their monthly payments are, let's just say, $1,300. And you can take over that loan. If, for example, you pay their delinquency costs, maybe they're delinquent in front of on their loan or something like that. So you need to look at, if I was to take over the property A by taking over $1,300 monthly payment, plus paying them whatever cash they need to exit the property. Even though on paper, on MLS, it says 450, if I can negotiate that property for taking it over subject to an existing loan plus some exit money for the owners, then guess what? My cash flow is going to be actually higher than on property B, because on property B, my $350,000 loan is going to come with a, $2,200-$2,500 monthly payment. And here I'm taking over $1,300 or $1,400 monthly payment. So as you can see, acquisition method is going to make a difference. So if you're planning to buy all properties through acquiring a loan on them, yeah, that's apples to apples. But I would look deeper in the homes that are sitting there for sale, unable to sell, long days in the market, in the MLS, even if you wanted to go in MLS. And then I would ask your agent, or if you want to ask me, I can run that question for you. Will any of those properties allow me to take over the existing loan? What are their monthly payments? What is their interest? Because you might find in that group of homes that look like they're too high priced for you to cash flow. Among those higher priced homes in better areas, typically of Dallas or DFW, you might find some people who have $1,300 mortgages that you can take over. So please do not forget that acquisition method does not always have to be buying them cash or buying them through a conventional loan. That's it for now. I think it's a long enough video already. I don't want to overwhelm you with the information. I just wanted you to think a little bit deeper. So when people call me, again, circling back with how this whole conversation started, it's very almost annoying to me, or annoying is the wrong word. It's almost like frustrating to me when people call me, the only thing they want to know is cash flow, And it's very hard for me to spend enough time to articulate the fact that a cash flow is a thing that can disappear in 1 second if either the rent prices drop, or you have AC go out that doesn't have coverage, or you have a tornado that you need to pay for doors, fasten doors, deductible on the insurance. Suddenly your cash flow is meaningless because your overall profits for the year are gone. And the location might be such that it might be even hard for you to even sell that property later if it doesn't cash flow. Okay, so I want you to consider on top of the cash flow, look at the market saturation, commercial DevOps, acquisition method, and depreciation. Just kind of think about those items in general. And I know that probably most people tend still to prioritize cash flow, immediate cash flow. It's almost like the immediacy effect, right? The instant gratification effect, which is okay. You just remember that the immediacy thing is not the only thing that will play into the overall success or failure of this specific investment over the next 10 years. You might have all of them successful, but some more successful than others, and not all of that success is going to come immediately from the cash flow on day zero. All right, I think I overtalked this topic. So my name is Elena Garrett, and I am a realtor in the Dallas-Fort Worth area of Texas. That's a mandatory disclosure that I have to say at the end of every video. And my broker is Keller Williams Financial in Dallas, Texas, Richardson, Texas. If you have any questions, and if you want to kind of call and pick my brain about which areas provide appreciation, where we have commercial DevOps, which areas suffer from market saturation, I'm actually going to be looking into those topics further. I'm going to be posting more videos on this topic. So if you are interested in something like that, feel free to subscribe to my channel and watch that and watch the topics on that, watch the videos on that topic. Also, what I'm going to do is on my website called PropShop One, I'm going to be constantly posting additional videos of things that I observe about the rental market. So if you're interested in rental market updates, please feel free to go and register on PropShop One, and then subscribe to forums that will say news and trends for North Texas, and then you're not going to miss any of the posts that I'm posting there. That's it for now. That's this time is for real. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you in the next video.